Hey everyone, this is Tell the Truth Sports Radio. I'm your host, Ron Fitch, and I'm back. I had a tough situation and my place got flooded, so I couldn't do all the shows I wanted to do. March Madness was my favorite time of year, but I'm going to go and bring it today. I'm going to talk about all the games that happened, and I got to do a commentary on Kentucky because it's a team I usually root for because I love me some Calipari, but I'm going to explain the issues with what's going on in Kentucky. But that's yesterday's news. Let's talk about what happened today. Also, when it comes to women's, you got LSU and Iowa at a rematch of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and she mocked Caitlin Clark. And you don't think those Iowa girls didn't forget that? That's gonna be interesting. I think LSU's better. Connecticut and the old guard that doesn't get talked about with their star guard going against Juju and her talent in USC. That's two great games tonight. I'm gonna try to get my guy Robert Page on because he covered the star player for Notre Dame's career in high school, and she lit it up this year. They didn't make it, but they had a good season. But yesterday, where do I start? Goodness gracious! Yesterday, you know where I start? I start with the big guy. I start with Tennessee Purdue. The game I was looking forward to is intense. Tennessee brought it, even though it was a pro Purdue crowd. Connect was great. There, Connect and Edey were going 37 Connect, 40 for Edey. They were going back and forth. Connect slowed down a little toward the end. And this is why a post game is important because Edey kept going. They got it. He got to his right shoulder. Hook shot, good. He goes to his left shoulder. He throws that little left-handed bank shot. He's not super athletic. He's super crafty. He knows, you know what makes him really good? He knows his limitations and he knows how good he can be. And I think recruiters glossed over him. I say he's kind of gangly. I know he went to IMG, but he just kept getting better. And he just played to his potential, and he got more intense this year. This is senior year. He's sick and tired of getting beat in the first round. They went for it. They were able to beat Tennessee. Now, when I look back at this game, and you see how the game went, biggest shot was Lance Jones' three-pointer with 2:44-2 left. It was 2 points. Tie game. 2-point game. Tie. It was back and forth. And that three-pointer that put Purdue up 6 with 2:42, Purdue was not going to let that lead go, and they were able to get that game home and do what they had to do. I love, what I loved about the Edey? He was solid from the free throw line. He had 40 points, 16 rebounds. He was fantastic. A big part, the guy who had 9 points and 7 assists to engine that roars is Braden Smith. He's big. The others are able to get Jones, Lawyer, 14 points, but their defense is a lot better. Usually they get burned by small athletic teams and just go by them, but they just were grittier this year. And Tennessee, I get on Barnes a lot as a coach. He did a good job. Tennessee went as far as they could. They have nothing to be ashamed of. They battled. They're not super talented as far as offense. They only have a couple of good pieces, but they played mean physical defense, and Purdue was able to survive that. But Connect's a big time player. Oh man, a pro team's gonna love having Connect. So I give my hats off to the Purdue Boilermakers. They're going to the Final Four. They punched their ticket. I love how they played. They blew out Gonzaga, which I thought Gonzaga was gonna get in trouble. They smoked Gonzaga. So I give them all their flowers for that. What about the fifth-year senior DJ Burns from NC State? NC State, another miracle run. They weren't supposed to make the tournament. This is eerily feeling like 83. You know why I say that? 83, there wasn't as dramatic of games, but they really should have lost to Oakland. They won pretty easy the first game. They should have lost to Oakland. They beat up Marquette, turn Marquette over. Marquette doesn't turn the ball over, so they get to Duke. And I said, well, they're probably not going to beat Duke. They just beat Duke, so Duke's going to be ready for them. But I thought about the NC State round of 83. They won their games, and then they beat Virginia to win the ACC championship to get in. All right, they don't have to see Ralph Sampson no more. They have to go all the way to the regional final. Guess who's there? Ralph Sampson. NC State had to go all the way to the regional final. Guess who they had to see again? Duke. And Duke was leading them. And NC State just snatched defensively. They snatched the heart from this Duke team. They got physical. DJ Burns he put on a show. And as a left-handed, I'm only 6 feet, but I have a nice little post game. And I see some of the shots he makes. I love watching him play. I had a friend that I watched him in a post play, and I learned his game. The little hook shot, the little use your right shoulder, fadeaway jumper, little back to the basket on the right block, left-handed bank shot to go in. He's got it all. He's a terrific passer. So, okay, this is where it becomes a problem. He's stronger than all your big men. Okay, we'll double him and force turnovers. All right. He loves to pass the ball. And you got a guy like Horn that's got 20 points is making shots. And then you got O'Connell that's giving you 11 assists and 6 points. They're not getting a lot of scoring, but because the head guy gets you 29, and Duke just said, we're going to man up for the most part. And he just annihilated Filipowski. Poor Filipowski, good player. But once they took the lead and jumped on them, the pressure was on Duke, and Burns got that game home. It's fifth-year senior. Seniors, if you're looking at the Final Four, there's seniors out there. UConn and Purdue, Alabama. Look at the seniors and upper class. It's about seniors. These are all freshmen, Fab 6. They get sent home because they're not. Because now the kids with the NIL, some of them staying a little longer, and these teams, mid-majors are senior laden, and they're older, and they're whooping up on these young guys. Look at the fifth-year senior Burns. You ain't got nobody. There's no Mason and Oakley out there in college basketball. He's going to have a field day. Now, they play Purdue. You want to talk about the most intriguing matchup, Burns and Edey. Edey, at times, like Tennessee kind of pushed him out, and he took a tough shot. Now, he's very good at setting himself up, getting his balance, and shooting that little right-handed hook in the lane. It's automatic. Can Burns get him out of his spot? What happens for both teams? Personal foul number 3 on Edey. He's coming out, and the backup has got to come in to guard Burns. Or Burns commits his 3rd foul, and she said could be in trouble. They don't have anybody. They're going to go directly inside to Edey's. What a fascinating matchup. Both teams rely on their big to kick the ball out to shooters. So that's a fascinating game. Mostly, I would say, okay, Purdue's going to win this game. But look at NC State. NC State is similar to 83. And if they win this, it'd really be similar, because I would think Alabama's going to give Connecticut a game, but Connecticut, I'll get to those 2 teams. Connecticut is on a roll. What if NC State beats Purdue and plays Connecticut? And Connecticut is beating teams by an average of at least 25 points. They're beating them by 30. They're going on 30-0 runs. The impossible team, the team of the all ages, one of the all-time great teams that are looked at, the machine, the super disciplined Connecticut going against the little engine that could NC State. If that matchup happens, if I'm Hurley, I'm playing the tape at 83. Like, listen, we got to play our best game. These guys are on a magic carpet ride. We got to come to play to make sure this doesn't happen to us. But I'm tempted to just pick Purdue against NC State, but that's a dangerous prediction. Dangerous prediction the way NC State's playing. My last segment is Alabama versus Connecticut. Alabama had a curious way to get here. They figured out a way. They played Grand Canyon, and Grand Canyon had them beat late. It was a 5-point sequence where Alabama gets off his rebound, scores, and won. Misses the free throw, missed the shot, gets off his another off his rebound, gets another 3-point play, and they end up. They were losing, and then they were up by 3. They're down 2, changed the entire game. Against Carolina, late, a missed ball comes out of Baycock's hand. So he didn't just miss it, it just came out of his hands. Unfortunate. Missed the dunk, changed the entire momentum. Alabama wins. They did not need that against Clemson. They out toughed a very tough Clemson team. And it's been the Grant Nelson show. He was big against Carolina. He was been big. He only had 8 this game. This was about Sears because he was in foul trouble going up against PJ Hall's big time player. But they ended up gutting it out big time because Sears was terrific. 23 points, 7 of 14. Pringle, 16 points. Griffin. And they're shooting Griffin was 3 of 6 from 3. Sears was 7 of 14, hitting some big time threes. Some deep, some timely. 1 3 put him up 9 late. That was a wrap. This kid is got the it factor. Then you're getting 19 points off the bench from Jaron Stevenson. I'm loving how congrats to Alabama. Roll Tide. Usually it's football, but they overachieved in football and got to the finals and played a tough Michigan team to a great Michigan team all the way to overtime. Nothing to be ashamed of. This team, if they give Connecticut a good game, nothing to be ashamed of. You got here to the Final Four, didn't play any defense all year, played great defense the whole tournament. You better do that against UConn. I go, UConn's playing Illinois. Illinois is back and forth. Klingland is got it going on inside, and UConn is way off from outside. Not really making a lot of shots. 5-point game. All right, 5-point game. Halftime. I'm out there. I'm getting a snack. Doing a couple of things, cleaning up. All right, I'll catch the. I'll miss a quarter of the second half, and that should be good. Maybe it'll be 5. I come back, it's a 30-0 run by the Huskies. And now it's 35-point game. And they hit you with that. And this is why they hit you. They are the most disciplined team I've seen in years. It's the sum of parts. Klingland is a good post player, of course. And he had 22 because they went inside to him early and often. And Illinois tried to go at Klingland. He had 5 blocks. He had about 6 or 7 more intimidation plays. They were going at it. The coach of Illinois said, we're going to go at him. And they went at him, and they paid for it. Spencer had 11 points. Caravan, 10. Newton is just the guy. He had 5 points, but he had 5 assists. Newton is the guy that gets the engine going. But Diarra was really good. He's a good defensive player. Comes off the bench with 11 points. And Samson Johnson, he's one of the best. He's a Jersey guy. He's one of the best at rolling to the basket, catching alley-oops. They really have that played down pat. And what Connecticut does is you could be on the strong side. They're moving the ball. They're kicking inside. Caravan kicks about outside. And what they're really setting you up for is the backdoor cut. Everything is deception in some of their plays. They'll have a pick and roll with Samson Johnson. Samson Johnson's rolling for an alley-oop. Okay, we're going to stop that. He'll kick it out to Castle for a 3, or he'll kick it out to Spencer for a 3, Newton. Or Newton will drive and take the shot. And it's the most – and see, if you're not Big East team, like Creighton was able to beat them, and Marquette gave them a good game because they knew Connecticut sets. If you don't know their sets, you don't know their style, you're going to get beat up. And I just think that Alabama does not have enough to stay with Connecticut. They're going to give them a game. I love me some Grant Nelson. But Connecticut's like, okay, we've seen all that before. So Big East. So what I believe could happen, and Connecticut hasn't shot it well. What you have to do, Connecticut has had a good start at all this whole tournament. You got to get up about Alabama's got to get about 15 and hang around and make it a game where there's pressure. And it's different from any game Connecticut's played the whole tournament. Connecticut can still win because they're gritty. They're not no front runners. I saw the Big East tournament where they gutted out a game against Marquette. So they have all the elements you need as a champion. But I like how Klingler is developing. He's like Edey. They're both kind of the same. That'd be kind of a cool matchup. They're both kind of similar build. Klingler is a little more athletic. Edey's a little more established in the post. But that would be interesting. But man, I'm not sleeping on no NC State. I'm definitely not sleeping on Alabama. I do like the offensive firepower if they're on. They got to be on, and they got to continue to play defense. And even that might not be enough. I just think that Spencer is due. He's 1 of 3 from 3. Spencer is due to go clean off, and Caravan. Spencer and Caravan are due to go clean off from the outside. And I think that's going to be the difference. That's going to get Connecticut to the championship game. All right. I just want to end the show by talking about my guy, John Calipari. And when they lose, everybody goes, yeah, your boy can't coach, your boy this. And it's been pressure. It was a bad loss to Oakland. They had trouble with their shooter. It was ugly. But he's got to make adjustments. It's not really about that he did the bad coaching, but the way he set up, one and done worked with Wall and Cousins, and you saw how he went to Final Fours, national champion, won national championship, had success. Now, not so much, losing to St. Peter's, losing to Kansas State. And look at the talent he had. And it's not the same. The one thing he's got to do is upperclassmen. You look at all the great teams in college basketball, upperclassmen. The Final Four is seniors and juniors. You don't have no super sophomores or super freshmen and all that stuff. It's sophomores and seniors. And that's the way it is. It's just it was just an interesting way to go. And they went out to an Oakland team. It was bad because Golke had 32 points and wasn't the same. He hit all those threes against Kentucky, and NC State did a number on him because they paid more attention to him because the upperclassmen understood assignments, understood how to defend guys who get off like that, who don't dribble a lot. But Kentucky didn't understand it because these freshman phenom have to learn the college game. And to me, even Shepard, other than Dillingham and Reese is a senior, everyone else should stay and play a year together and learn and beat Kentucky. Calipari got to sell them on Kentucky. We are the Kentucky Wildcats. We are going to win a national championship. We're on a mission, just like Purdue and Kentucky and Alabama after a terrible defeat. They came back. They didn't even have Quinterly, who probably wishes he's at Alabama right now. But they lost people, and they were on a mission to get back. You got to be on a mission to get back. Wagner and the kid from IOTEP and Shepard should stay. I hope he stays. Go get better. Then they're going to get the bigs will get stronger and learn Bradshaw. And they'll learn how to be tough inside because big men are starting to play better in the tournament as they're starting to veer toward the old school big men. So Calipari's got to go and see where the game is right now. Go get you a good, solid post guy that you can keep for a few years. And I think that's where the game is going. He has to adjust and make that adjustment, or he's not going to be around. So I'm not going to say he's a terrible coach, but he hasn't done great. He hasn't done great because he hasn't adjusted with the way the game is played. And the possession at the end of the game were poor. So there's everyone has to improve. Him and his coaching staff, they all got to kind of have that moment in the summer where we got to bond and we got to all play together. We got to coach better and just do everything else better.